The Brothers Karamazov, Book 8, Chapter 7. Now Mitya, Dmitri, runs into the room after all these chapters of wanting to see Grushenka and then commit suicide after a evening of possibly killing his father and definitely knocking over his stepfather, as it were, after declaring that he will kill himself. Now Mitya runs in the room, and very surprisingly, they're all there, almost overly quiet, playing cards. The Polish gentleman's bodyguard, who is Grushenka's first love, and then old Kalganov and Maximov. We met Maximov way back in the very second book, toward the end there, when Fyodor offended everyone at the seminary at the dinner party, and he and Ivan left. And as Fyodor and Ivan were in the carriage, Maximov tried to jump on, and Ivan punched him in the chest, and he fell off. So now we meet our old friend Maximov, Kalganov, and these two Polish men, one of them Grushenka's former and future lover, we think, and his bodyguard. They're all there playing cards, and Mitya, Dmitri, runs in. And as Dmitri runs in, it would make total sense, as far as we know his character thus far in the novel, for him to knock over the card table like in an Old West saloon, and for them to start throwing punches and cursing and fighting to the death. But none of that happens. The men are sitting there almost too quiet, and Dmitri comes in almost too cordially and conciliatory, and there they sit down, and he says, "Can I spend my last night with you in this calm and cordial manner?" And just when you think that Dmitri could possibly pull this off like a normal human being, he takes one look at Grushenka and he starts to cry. And then, like most male criers, he doesn't want anyone to see him cry, so he turns and looks away, which of course never works. And then Grushenka starts to say, "Are you crying?" as if you have something to cry about. And then he does the sort of the almost creepy thing where you go from crying to a disingenuous laugh. And so Grushenka tries to calm everyone down and says, "Stay. We should have drinks." And then Dmitri starts a really creepy laugh. And then he starts to sort of examine the room and look at this Polish guy and his Polish bodyguard, and kind of starts to think about what's going on, and what does Grushenka think about these people. And they just go on with kind of crude and dumb dialogue as they're playing cards, and you can kind of just read in a few of the pages here that Grushenka is growing less and less interested in sort of their dumb and crude conversation over the cards. And it seems like Dmitri is starting to read the room a little bit, read the situation a little bit, and it's starting to dawn on him that though Grushenka has left to be with this man, that she's really not that into him, and that he's really not that great of a guy, not as great of a threat as he assumed he is. He just seems like kind of a foolish man. And so Dmitri, to sort of lighten the mood or create peace, starts to order more and more drinks and to act more and more foolish with this man. And then he asked him to step outside in private so that they can talk. And then he offers the man 3,000 rubles, which of course to the average reader, Dostoevsky keeps trying to force us to realize that Dmitri has had 3,000 rubles these last few chapters. We're supposed to keep asking, how did he get 3,000 rubles? Did he steal that exact amount of money from his father? And so Dmitri offers the Polish officer 3,000 rubles, 500 down, 2,500 later, to leave Grushenka alone forever. And the guy says, "How about 700? How about all of it?" And they go back inside, and this officer tells on tells on Grushenka. Dmitri tells on the officer to Grushenka. They both tell on each other. And Dmitri wants him to look terrible in Grushenka's eyes, that she is for sale and that he was going to do it, and that it was all a trap. And surprisingly, from Dmitri, this actually works. And so the man storms off and says, "You come with me now, or you're never going to see me again." And Grushenka says, "See ya," and the man leaves. And you can imagine what will happen in the next chapter. Dmitri is beyond pleased. This is beyond his wildest dreams of the past few chapters, that this would happen. He thought that this was a completely lost cause. And now, as this chapter comes to a close, we see that Dmitri has a new life. He has hope. He's repented in the last chapter, and now the prospects of Grushenka being his are completely alive and well again. She didn't go see his father, and she didn't stay with this Polish officer. Seems to have no affection whatsoever for old Samsonov, and so Dmitri sees a clear path to Grushenka being his. And so it's no surprise that the next chapter, the final chapter in this book, begins with a great celebration of this fortuitous turn of events for Dmitri.